Welcome back, everyone, to Live at 9. Earlier this month, a Tennessee company founded by a former governor and two other native Tennesseans broke ground on a project to clean up the grid here in the volunteer state.
The first solar farm will soon have a home in West Tennessee, about an hour and a half outside Memphis. And to learn more about the plans for this and how it could potentially impact all of us, we're here with one of Clearloop's founders, CEO Laura Zapata. Laura, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate that.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we're pretty excited about this for those who are aware of climate change and agree that it's a real thing. But there are many skeptics with regard to solar power, particularly here in Tennessee, where it's not like we're Colorado with 330 days of sunshine. Give us some perspective on how realistic solar energy is in terms of providing really enough electricity or power for enough of us.
Yeah, so what we're really excited about is that the technology for solar has been around for a long time, and it keeps developing quite a bit year over year. It's a proven technology, especially at the utility scale. So what we're talking about with Clearloop's first solar project in Jackson, it's a 1 megawatt project. So it's about enough to cover about 10 football fields, and that will be providing enough power to power up 200 homes over the next 40 years. So it's as long as the sun is shining, the power will be produced. And the good news about the South and the Southeast and the MidSouth specifically is that not only do we have plenty of sunshine, we also have plenty of flat land, which is what we need when it comes to solar technology.
Do you consider this kind of an introduction, making sure people in West Tennessee and, well, really much across the MidSouth know what this is all about? I'm reading less than 1% of the electricity for our state comes from solar power. I mean, that's a pretty small amount. What do we have to do to make that even bigger?
Yeah, so what we're doing with Clearloop is that this is all connected to the utility, to all of your power lines. So basically, just like we don't think about it today when we're powering these conversations or turning on the lights or plugging up our phones, we're not thinking about necessarily where that electricity comes from. What happens in the US is that most of our carbon footprint is coming from that electricity getting generated. So we're still burning fossil fuels like natural gas and coal to create electricity. And so it's exacerbating the problem with climate change. So what we're hoping to do is that we can just plug in these solar projects into the utility. People are not even thinking about where their electricity is coming from, and it's already working and powering up just like they would do any other day. And as long as the sun's shining, it doesn't even have to be hot. So in the winter months and as we go into the fall, the solar project works just as well as it does in a sunny day in summer.
Okay, because that's what I was going to ask, because twice we've already heard as long as the sun is shining. So when the sun is shining, extra power, if you will, I apologize, I'm using layman's language, is stored for those days that are gray?
So it just powers directly into the grid. So those electrons are going right into those power lines that we're connected into JEA, which is in Jackson, but it's part of TVA. So all of those electrons are just going back into, okay, just like plugging in your home, and it's no different than what you would do any other day.
How are we doing on the price of solar panels? Because, many years ago, it was like, oh, this was just way too expensive to get into. I know the price is coming down. It's like, oh, I see this. I'm all excited now. I might want to put this on the roof of my own home. How is the price balance coming along when it comes to the average consumer and somebody who wants to make this a part of their home?
Yeah, so the best news is that the prices are going down, particularly at utility scale. And so when we're talking utility, we're talking like these are the massive, power generators that we don't even think about that are just plugging into our homes. So you don't have to worry about it yourself. So those prices keep going down. And what we're doing with Clearloop is basically trying to incentivize companies. So there's lots of companies that are saying, I care about the environment in some way, and we need to cut our carbon footprint. And usually they try to buy trees or some other thing to ameliorate that. What we're doing with it is that we're getting their capital to help us build more of these solar projects. So trying to bring more private capital into these things so that, even if you're a resident and it's too expensive for you to put it in your home, that it could be something that is a project that's already generating right into your grid system. You don't even have to worry about it.
Interesting. Okay, real quickly, you mentioned TVA. Of course, that is where we get our power here and through much of the state. Have you received much pushback from them, obviously you're competing with them, or from the state lawmakers who may or may not want to invest any money? Is there pushback from anyone that you're seeing?
No, so what we're trying to do is work with them. So we're working closely with JEA. So they're just like MLGW in Memphis, and then they work with TVA. So what we're trying to do is basically prove out that because we're paying for the capital costs of building the solar project, then all they have to do is purchase very cheap energy from that particular solar project. So it ends up working out because it's just an economics game. And so for us, the hope is that there's going to be more and more of these solar projects coming online, not only from Clearloop, but with others. TVA just announced a flexibility program. They're trying to, over the past year, have been trying to be more flexible. And then the Biden administration just announced that they're hoping to see an increase. The country today only sits at a little less than 3% solar. Right. The hope is that it will be at 40% in the next few years. And so in order for us to do that, we need to bring, sort of more of that private public partnership and allow us to just build these things, plug them in, and then get a chance to buy cheaper power so that eventually it's us, the ratepayers, that are paying cheaper prices for electricity.
Well, please keep us updated. Thank you.